Hello and welcome to my podcast, Little Girls Aren't Taught This. I am your host, Self-Love Lydia, former self-love coach turned business coach and mentor. This is the podcast where you get clarity on exactly what it takes to create an authentic business that allows you to scale with sustainability. I'll discuss why strategy meets self-love and spirituality has been the foundation of my success and got me to where I am today. After creating 2 successful brands and businesses driven by impact, I generated thousands in income through the power of authenticity, life-changing signature programs, and passion for what I sell. I am on a mission to show you what's possible when you lead with purpose, when you sell with passion and you create a brand that gets you mentioned at the fucking table. My intention is to empower you with raw topics each week on business, self-love, female empowerment, and spirituality so you can create freedom in your life with a business that you absolutely love. So let's dive right into this week's episode. Hello and welcome back to this week's podcast episode. I am back for season 3 and I am back with consistent episodes now. It's been obviously... You all know that I've moved my whole life to California and I have been doing all of the things. So yeah, I took a little break from the podcast, which I'm okay about. You know, I wanted to come back when I felt like super inspired and I had things that I felt like I wanted to share with you and talk about. So in today's episode, I just literally want to have a little chat. A few weeks ago, I put a poll out on my Instagram and I asked you guys for questions in relation to the move. And I'm just going to answer them. I'm just going to update you with where I'm at, with what's going on for me in my business, in my personal life. And let's just have a little chat. So you may be out walking, you may be snuggled up with a nice cup of coffee, whatever it is that you are doing when you listen to this. I just want you to imagine that this is just me and you hanging out, having a little chat, and I am just updating you on what is going on in my life. So, because there's like a million things. So as you know, I moved. What's been really interesting is since I moved to California, so much has come up for me. And you know, on my Instagram, you see all of the nice things. You see the Laguna Beach, you see days out in LA, you see me living in the mountains, you see me go for the morning swim, all of that type of stuff. And, you know, every single day I'm like practicing my gratitude and being so thankful for the fact that I live in such an amazing place. But I'll be honest, my inner autumns have been bringing up a lot for me. Like, don't be fooled in thinking moving your whole life to another part of the world is easy, or that, you know, it's just like me out here living my best life in California. It's amazing, but it's brought up a lot of challenges for me personally, a lot of, you know, challenges with days with my mental health, missing people. Every single day I am out my comfort zone, like every single day. And I truly believe that's why a part of me is just like exhausted all of the time. And I think it's just because every single day there's something new, which obviously when you move your whole life to the other side of the world, there's gonna be, you know, that's expected. But yeah, just every single day, like out my comfort zone, super lonely. Like, I'm gonna be honest and say, like, super, super lonely. Like, you know, there's this fairy tale of, oh, she moved and she's with a boyfriend and they're living in California. And it's like, yeah, but the other part of that is, you know, I live up in a mountain. I am literally living in a place that's like a small little, you could call it like a village. It's full of like affluent, so like wealthy, middle-aged Americans. So there's not really anybody my age. And there's not really much going on in Lake Arrowhead, apart from obviously swimming in the lake. I got myself in a gym. The gym does some yoga classes, but I like to be around people. I like to go to, I'm a visual person. This is my thing, okay? So I'm like a visual person. So when I was in the UK, you'd probably always see me out in like different coffee shops, my office was like my space. Like I fucking adored my office with like my plants, and it was super bright. And it was just like my space with like all my crystals and stuff. I don't have that over here. Like I don't, I had to leave a lot of my belongings. I don't have like an office. Visually, like there's no like plants or flowers or pretty girly things, which, these are like small menial things. Like they're not massive things, but I just think over time, like the longer that I'm living here, the longer obviously like I am missing these things. And I miss just being able to just like walk to a coffee shop or text one of my friends and go for a walk and a coffee in the crisp autumn morning. I miss being able to just pop over to my mum's or go and see my dad and sister. So all of these things, like, I miss, and I'm really starting to miss, because I've been here now for, wow, nearly 2 months. So, it's not, it's like that, like, oh my God, excitement phase is wearing off, and I'm getting into like the reality of living here and all of the things that come with that. So on a whole, it's incredible. Like I'm loving it. I'm in California. Like, fuck, like I'm gonna sit here and say like it's bad or be ungrateful. Like I'm so grateful, but that is the reality of what's going on. Like, and when I'm getting my period, I am noticing that all of this stuff is coming up for me. Like a lot of questioning around, is this right? And did you do the right thing? And, a lot of like, what's been really interesting is a lot of reminiscing on the freedom and the life that I had in the UK, because in a way I am at the bottom of the ladder coming over here. Like I'm an immigrant, I'm on a F1 visa, there's no security, well, technically I'm just like existing. According to the American government, I'm just like existing and studying. There's a lot of changes in terms of like the culture over here, and just like the amount, like just the cost of everything. It's so expensive. University is so expensive. And I notice when I'm in my inner autumn, in my cycle, like a lot of this stuff comes up, and I reflect on having that freedom in the UK, like having my own car, being in my office, being in my own space, hanging out with my friends, my family, being able to just literally pick myself up and go wherever I want to go. Because now obviously it's me and Luke and we're together, and it's not that easy because we don't have our separate lives as much, and we are very independent in our relationships. And now we're like in a situation where we're always together. We're sharing one car, we're up in a fucking mountain, all of that stuff. So yeah, I'm missing human connection. I'm missing connection with like other women. I'm missing connection in like groups, meditation circles, all of these things. And I partly believe that's why I got the download to do the retreat. I think the retreats are going to be huge for me. And I think, I would even run 2 a year. But I think consistently now I want to be running retreats, because I want to be connecting with women. I want that time where it's expansive and we all come together and we just, there's so much radical transformation that happens. So I truly believe that's why the retreats are happening now. And I am coming home in November for my 30th. So I want to be around my family. I want to be around, my best friends for my 30th. So yeah, that's another thing that I'm going to hold some like space for other people and hold some events. And I cannot wait to just like be around women and be around like-minded women, because the time difference makes it difficult. So I've got a coach, Rosie, and that's working with the time difference, but she offers like mindset mornings and all of that nice stuff. And there's a lot of group calls that I'm missing out on at the moment. So that connection, even online, is a little bit more difficult, just because of the time zone and the time difference. And then obviously like connecting with my family, connecting with my friends, like the time difference, it's just managing all of that. But like I said, I've moved my life to the other side of the friggin' world, and of course it's going to come with all of this stuff. So I would never want to just be like, yeah, California's amazing and I'm living my best life, and just feed you a load of shit, because take out where I've moved to and the place that I've moved to, I am hugely out my comfort zone, and I am an advocate for, you know, being authentic and showing you the process as best as I can, all parts of any process, whether that's in business, whether that's in my personal life, whether that's something I go through. Like me as a woman, like last year we're having one boob. I always like to show you all multiple sides, because you literally come along the journey with me, so you know the transparency, and then you know that it's hard, but look at what can happen when you make a move, or you take a risk, or you come out your comfort zone. So that for me is why I always like to be totally transparent, and I am coming on this podcast and be like, you know, this is the crack of what's going on, and this is how I'm feeling. So personally, there's a lot of shifts and there's a lot of growth happening, which feels good, feels exciting. It feels like there's momentum, like new stuff is happening. You know, different environments, they just change how you operate. And I've had a lot of people say to me recently, you know, like your energy seems like it's completely up leveled on social media, how you're operating, like your business. And I think that's because when you move to a new environment, you often are forced, do you step up or do you shrink? And I was actually talking to my friend about this, literally just sent her a voice note and said the same thing. You know, we've both finished university and she's a bit in limbo, and I experienced that when I finished my master's. I had all of this space and I had all of this time that I could now put into my business. And, you know, she's struggling with that transition, and that's another part of the process, and it's fine. You just need to really take that time to get clarity on what it is that you want. But I just voice noted it and I said, you know, when we're in times of uncertainty or when we feel uncomfortable, we have two choices. We either step up and show up, or we step back and we shrink. And it's like, which one do you want to do? So being in America, you know, I am bottom of the ladder. So it's like, okay, let me work and let me truly step into what I desire with my price points, with my offers, with my business, with how I'm navigating my life, with my standards. Let me step it up a level to start to see so much change happen in my life, and to start to build out that life I want in California. Because the life I had in the UK, and this is another thing that's so interesting, the life I had in the UK was beautiful. It was in flow. I didn't I got to the point where I didn't have to think about, if I went into a shop, I didn't have to think about the price of anything. I didn't have to think about just small things that mean a lot for me. If I wanted a Starbucks, I would have a Starbucks. And you know I'm obsessed with coffee. If I wanted to go to M&S and get a beautiful steak for me and Luke, I would just go and do it, and I get all the trimmings with the broccoli and the fries and the sauces. And you might be listening to this thinking what is this girl talking about? But I always say do not overlook those small moments of wealth, success and abundance, because they are there every single day when you're making the moves and you're building that life that you desire. You know, to be self-employed and to have a Starbucks every day, or two Starbucks, or to go to M&S, or to fill my card up and not worry about it, or to go out for brunch 3 times a week. We have to remember our gratitude, and we have to remember how privileged we are to be able to do that. So for me, that life was so abundant. It was carefree, it was easy, it was expansive. I could just do what I wanted to do, and the only person I thought about was myself, because Luke was out doing his own thing. And now what's really interesting coming over here is because it's just your whole perspective shifts on money, and still trying to navigate being super, super abundant, which I feel really abundant. I feel really good. I'm consistently doing money mindset, but also managing the fact that, you know, I've transitioned over to a different country. Technically, apart from my online business, I'm not able to work for I can't work. And just noticing that, you know, having 2 Starbucks every single day when a Starbucks costs $8 over here, it's just really being smart, and smart with my money, smart with the moves that I'm taking, smart with the decisions that I'm doing. And it's interesting how even the small things have shifted. But then I guess the flip side of that is, you know, I if I ever find myself getting like, oh, I want a Starbucks, I'm like, Lydia, look where you are. Like, you are literally, like, just go and look outside at the view that you've got. And it's all about taking that risk. And even if you feel like you're starting again, like coming out your comfort zone and completely going into a different space, like, honestly, I cannot put into words how much I have changed in like 8 weeks of being here. It's insane. And, you know, I may feel like I'm starting again because I can't have a Starbucks, or an immigrant, so I don't have these rights, or I can't, you know, just pick myself up one morning and piss off in the car because everything's so far and we're like quite isolated up in the mountains and we're sharing a car. So like, I might not be able to do that, but what's on the other side of me being smart now and building out my business and, you know, charging what I want to charge and having those standards and doing all of these things, like, what is on the other side of it? And what's on the other side of it is like limitless. And that's what I always want you to understand. Like, in the UK, I was so in my comfort zone. Here, I'm so out my comfort zone and things have changed, but the potential for what my life can be is so fucking limitless now. It's unbelievable. Like, I walk down Laguna Beach and I'm just like, how, like, just the way these people live is insane. And the mindset is so different over here. Everyone's like super fucking abundant. And, you know, there's a lot of poverty in America. There's a lot of homelessness in America. But I think for me, like the part that I'm in, you know, Luke's got a family member who's very wealthy. So we're staying in up here, which is just like insane. It's like picturesque. We hang out in OC. We go down to Laguna Beach. You know, we go down to like Malibu, all of these really, really like affluent places, and we do that because we want to be driven. So we want to stay hungry, we want to stay driven, we want to walk around these places and feel like it's possible for us to belong here. Like, we want to do that because it's all part of the story. Because let's say I was to settle in the UK and I ended up living in like Laguna Beach, my story would be I was an immigrant and I come over, and when I was 29 and I started again, and this is where I've got to. But regardless of like whatever the outcome is, and we don't get caught up on the outcome, it's just like whatever the outcome is, it's like taking that massive risk to move countries and start what feels like start again and be at the bottom of the ladder is like, it has to pay off. And the same applies for you. Like, like any moves that you make, like, they have to pay off. Like, even if you invest in yourself, even if you leave a relationship, whatever it is, any huge move that you make that's going to radically change the course of direction of your life and make you very uncomfortable, it's going to benefit you in some way, like a 1,000,000%, a million times over. So the reason why I just wanted to do this episode is just to kind of like just chat about change and uncomfortability, and like really show you and really like just chat about how it feels to make a big move and to be out your comfort zone every day. Like, some days I just like cry because I'm just like, I miss being comfortable. Like, I really, really miss being comfortable. Like, we were swimming in the lake. I think it was like 3 weeks after we got here. And I'm absolutely petrified of spiders. Like, honestly, I am so scared of spiders. Probably to the point where I need to do like hypnotherapy or something. And coming into this house and living in the middle of a fucking forest, and there's like bugs everywhere and it's so normal, and you like, my anxiety was through the fucking roof. I am not joking. It was so bad for the first like 2 or 3 weeks I lived here. And then, you know, we go swimming in the lake and there's like algae in the lake and just swimming through. And I know it sounds like it's nothing, but every single day I'd want to go swim in that lake and I'd just be like, oh, I don't want to go through that algae. Like, I just don't want to have to swim through it because it like freaks me out. It's super high. It's disgusting. And I just like started crying. Like, we were just swimming and I just started crying. And he was like, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm just always out my comfort zone, like driving on the other side of the road, getting used to that. Like, I'm just, every single day there's something that I don't want to do, but I'm making myself do it because I know that it's like part of adapting. So for you, like, I don't know how this is going to resonate with what I'm saying, but I hope that it resonates in some way with you. And if you ever feel like you're coming out of your comfort zone, I want this moment in this podcast to come to your mind, because I want you to know that you will adapt and you will grow in so many ways that you do not even know right now. Like, you can't even imagine how much you're going to grow when you come out of your comfort zone. And just please dream big. Like, and I know that sounds so cliche. It's like, oh, that's like one of those like quotes you would see in like a Target or a B&M for my UK listeners, or like the Range, and it'd be like in that aisle with all like the sparkly tacky stuff. And you know, it does sound cliche to say dream big, but you have to, like, you literally have to, like, there's no question about it. Because I hate how someone just started hammering behind me. That's really annoying. Maybe I should close the window. Yeah, I closed the window. So you have to, because you only have one opportunity. And, you know, like I've said from the start, if I was to come over here and in 5 years, or if I was to come over here in 6 months, I didn't want to live here anymore, I would never think, what if? And I would always have that chapter in my story where Lydia went for it all. Like, she moved countries, she went for it all. And I like, my biggest thing is I never want to regret anything. That's why when we spoke about moving over here, I was like, yeah. And, you know, people have said, like, did you not even, was there no party that didn't want to go? And I'm like, no, because like, it's a part of the journey, isn't it? It's a part of the chapter. Like, let's just see what happens. So yeah, it's been a ride for like the 2 months that I've been here. It's been, well, coming up to 2 months. It's been intense. It's been emotional. It still is emotional. It's been exhausting. It's been amazing. It's been uncomfortable. It's been all of the things. Like, even to get up and down the mountain, like, I get motion sickness so bad on the roads, to the point where like I've had to buy tablets. Like, I get it really bad. So just even coming out of this house and driving down the mountain makes me feel sick. And, you know, there's some moments where I'm like, this is fucking bullshit. Like, I just want to go back to the UK. I just want to be comfortable in the UK. I just want to like be around my friends, around my family. I just want to know what it is that I'm doing. And that's me. That's nice. So also, you can be making moves and you can also miss what you've left. Like, please also appreciate that. Like, it's okay for you to be going out there in the world and going after the things that you desire, whilst also a part of you is reminiscing or missing or desiring to be back in that comfortable space. Like, it's okay for you to do that. There's no right or wrong. And it's a massive part of coming out your comfort zone. You are going to reflect on what it feels like to be super comfortable, to know every single day when you wake up what to expect in certain ways. You get in your car, you know what side of the road that you drive on. You do it like it's second nature. You know what food is in the supermarkets. You know how the supermarkets look. You know what you like. You know what you dislike. You know that you can just reach out and go and see your friends. You know what coffee shop you like, how they do your coffee, you know, where you can go to connect with people. That is so fucking nice about being in your comfort zone. So nice about being in your comfort zone. But the thing that's not nice about being in the comfort zone is that no change happens. And if we have dreams and if we have desires, unfortunately, we have to step out of our comfort zone. So now at Starbucks, the coffee shit. Oat milk over here is like god awful. Everyone knows I love nothing more than an oat milk cappuccino and a nice walk. For 6 weeks, I've had piss poor coffee. Now, is this first world problems? Absolutely. Like, is there bigger things going on in the world? Absolutely. But it's not about, just for this moment, it's not about what's happening in the world. And I think this is why every single morning I come back to gratitude. I zoom out and I look at the bigger picture. But in those moments where it makes us realize that we are out of our comfort zone and it makes us miss what we had, and it makes us question if what we're doing is the right thing. Something so fucking simple as ordering an oatmeal cappuccino and it not being the same coffee that you get at home, that nice coffee that makes you feel like I love this, like this is filling me up, this feels good. To not get that in those small moments, they're the signals that are going to be getting sent that, am I doing the right thing? Like, questioning, because often it's not the big things, it's the small things that we have, the small simple pleasures in our day, in the comfort zone, the things that we take for granted, the things that we love, the things that make us feel good, the things that make us feel like home, that homely feeling. Literally, they are the small things. So I'm just sharing this because I want you to know that it's okay for you to be dancing between the two. It's okay for you to hold multiple truths at once. And it's okay for you to hold them side by side and both of them have space at the table. It's okay for you to miss what was. And it's okay for you to want to be out your comfort zone completely. Like, all of these things are totally normal. So yeah, that's just where I'm at. Like, university as well, I did not like the course. It was very dry. It was all about statistics and data and formulas. And I was just like, I don't want to do this. So I changed my program over to like an entrepreneurship program, which is more creative, more fun. I'm enjoying that. I'm loving that. And you know, there's moments where I sit and I'm like, I don't want to do uni again. Like, I literally do not want to do uni again. I had to go cry to my mum and sister the other day and to my friend Annie. And I was like, I'm just so unhappy. Like, I'm really unhappy. I don't want to do it. And it's again, it's holding multiple truths. So you can be so happy and know that what you're doing is such a huge thing. And you can also be unhappy. It's okay. There's multiple sides of you. It's exactly the same as when you end a relationship or you go through a breakup. You've done it because you know that it's right for you to do. But it doesn't mean you don't cry. Doesn't mean you don't get upset. Doesn't mean that you don't feel heartbreak or grief or loss. But there's also a part of you that feels relieved, that feels like what you've done is the best thing for you. And it's okay to hold those multiple truths. Like, I'm not a believer that we just have one perspective. I'm not a believer that it's just like, come over here and everything's going to be amazing and super happy. I know that it's not as black and white as that. And I know that some days, you know, I'm going to feel it more than others. Some days I am going to be unhappy. Some days because I'm going to be missing my friends, my family connection. So it's okay. It's okay. It's all okay. And it's all welcome. But the one thing I want you to know is that stepping out your comfort zone is literally the greatest gift that you can give yourself. And do not ever underestimate how quick you're going to adapt to new situations, new surroundings. You will surprise yourself so much. So that's just what I wanted to talk about in today's episode. And I was going to answer some questions, but actually I feel like it's quite a fitting space to leave it. Although actually maybe I should just answer like one or two. Right, so someone's asked me, did I put my things in storage or just get rid of load? Literally just threw everything out. Like, I was ruthless. I put 2 boxes in my dad's. That is it. And the boxes are full of like crystals, like stupid stuff like trinkets that of my nan's, just that type of stuff. Like, I don't need books. I literally can't even remember what I put in storage, but stuff like that, like books, crystals, all of my personal things that I didn't want to throw out. So no, I did not put any in storage. I was literally threw bin bags and bin bags out of stuff, which was not easy, may I say. It was not easy at all. But I've known the move was coming for years. So when I moved out in 2021 of my mum's and moved into, you know, that transitional house that I was in for a year, I was absolutely ruthless in my mum's because I knew in the next like year or so I was moving over to California. So again, then I threw loads of stuff out. So when I moved, I literally moved in like a day and unpacked in a day because I didn't even take that much stuff when I moved out my mum's. Someone's asked me, how permanent is the move? Are you on a business visa or do you have a US citizenship? So no, getting a citizenship is like gold over here. So at the moment, I am on an F1 visa, which is a student visa. The plan is to obviously stay over here. You know, that's the plan, like seek immigration, go down the appropriate routes in order to be able to live over here and set up a life over here. But at the moment, it's an F1 visa. I have it for 5 years, and I think that's quite cool, to be honest, like 5 years. So that means I get the 2 years to do university and then maybe like 3 years, I don't know, to get work experience. I don't really know how the visas work, but there's options when you speak to like immigration lawyers in terms of like swapping over visas. But I'm not at that point yet, so I don't know like what will happen in the future. Someone's asked, how was the visa process? So for me, the visa process was absolutely seamless. I think it cost about £400 all in all. And it was literally filling a few forms out, uploading all my ID, filling forms out about like my family members, applying to the embassy, paying the money that needed to be paid, and then sending my passport off. The thing with the visa process is you don't know if you're accepted or not until you get your passport back. So it's an intense process in that regard. So for me, it was absolutely seamless. There was no hiccups. I got a 5-year visa straight away. It took like 2 weeks from start to finish. With Luke, however, his was a lot longer. He got declined. He had to go to London for an interview, where he got declined again, but then he appealed it, and it was a full thing to get over here, which was like super interesting. So for literally about 2 months, we were in absolute limbo. Like, we didn't know what was going on, and this was literally when I was finishing my masters, so the stress I was under was unbelievable, because I got my visa back. He got the news about his visa. He then had to go down the embassy, and I was like finishing, like submitting all my dissertation, doing all of the things. And then we were just like in limbo for like a month. And I think he got the email 2 days before we went to Dubai. He got the email and they asked him to send his passport off. So we went to Dubai. We didn't know what was going on. And then he come back and sent his passport off, and then he got his visa. So, and he got a 5-year visa as well. So yeah, it literally was not confirmed until like the last minute. We had to move our flights like 3 times. We had to pay so much money to move our flights because just everything with the visa just kept stalling and getting held up. So it depends who you ask. For me, I'm going to say the visa process was super easy. It wasn't that expensive, and I got it back in like 2 weeks. So do I ever think I'll come back to Liverpool to live? I don't know. Like, I'm not sure at this moment. Could I see myself living in Liverpool? Not really. But I've never wanted to settle in Liverpool. I could see myself living in like Knutsford. If I was to live in the UK, it would be like Knutsford ways. But yeah, I don't know at this moment. I think, you know, if anything was to happen and I left the US for whatever reason, let's say it was with Luke or without Luke, I would spend a lot of time like in Bali. I would spend a lot of time living out of the UK, living in different areas. But for me and Luke, I think we could see ourselves going back to the UK because, you know, at this moment in time, it's not like as black and white as that we're staying over here. But I definitely think it would be like living in like a Knutsford type place, little quaint little village round by nature where it's like super green. I love all that. So how do I feel about it being so far away from friends and family? I think I answered that in the podcast. So how long is my uni course? So the one that I've just switched over to can be completed in 16 months. So that's good. But when you're an international student, what they do is they kind of like drip feed you modules so they don't overwhelm you, because it's very different over here to the UK, which is interesting. And then what is your personal biz goal for your time in California? So my personal goal is to just live, like really that's my goal, is to travel, to see different places, to continue to grow, to meet new people. So like in terms of a personal goal, I think what's so weird is I'm literally living something that has been spoken about for so long. So me and Luke met in 2018, and I think he mentioned wanting to move in like 2019. So we didn't move till 2022, and we didn't put the wheels in motion, to be fair, till like the end of 2021. So it was just obviously with COVID and stuff. So literally what I'm living now is something that I was speaking about for years and years. Like my dad would take the piss and be like, you're not like, I've heard you talk about moving to California for years now, Lydia, like you're not going to do it. And I was like, I'm going to do it. Like I'm telling you, when the time's right, we're going to do it. So in terms of that personal goal right now, it's just to enjoy this moment, because I like, as a couple, we spoke about this moment so many times, and now we're living it. And I think a personal goal is just to like stay connected to people that I love, find new people over here whenever that becomes doable. Because the other thing I'm really struggling with is like, I'm really struggling to connect to American women over here. Like, this is nothing against Americans, obviously, because I'm in America, that's why American women, but I'm really struggling to like connect to women. And I think the reason being is because there's just it's just like finding my people. And I just think the people I've been around up until this point like aren't my people. So, I have faith that I will meet the right people when I'm in the right circles. But yeah, I like deep conversations. I like deep friendships. I like doing cool stuff. Like, I don't know. There's just loads of things that I would do with my friends. And like me and Annie went out in a camper van, didn't we? And she made me like egg sandwiches in the van, and we had a cup of tea, and we went for a walk, and we got some cake and just stuff like that. So it's very the culture's very different over here. I think especially from what I'm gauging, it's very different. So I'm just trying to like remind myself that I will meet the right people, and the right people in the right circles will present themselves to me. So that's a personal goal. And then just obviously to stay like healthy, to continue to work on my mindset, to continue to like, put a lot of time and energy into my relationship, because the transition in my relationship has been fucking huge as well. Like, so big. The dynamics have like completely changed of our relationship. And I don't know, I feel like, I'm coming up to being 30 in like 2 months, and what's really interesting is I noticed there's a shift happening where like I'm feeling a lot more maternal. Now people always laugh and say like I'm the least maternal person ever, but I noticed that my priorities are changing. Like I'm seeing a lot of people around me like get pregnant, and I'm seeing a lot of people have babies, and even like marriage. And I'm just like, that's really interesting. Like I just noticed things are coming up for me, because I'm obviously getting to like that into my 30s now. So I don't know like what's ahead for me. Like I literally don't know. And the thing is like I've never known. This is probably the only thing I've ever known was like a potential that was going to happen. But apart from like my life, the direction, who I'm going to be as a person, I don't know. I just want to continue to evolve, continue to grow, continue to be happy. That's just important for me, just to continue to be happy. And then business goals, like there's so many. I've got 2 businesses. I'm a qualified psychotherapist now. I want to build out my private practice. I really want to like start making my mark as a body image psychotherapist. I have goals that I want to do a TED talk. Like it's 100% certain one day I'm going to do a TED talk. So for that business, there's so much I want to do. And I know like the beauty about the psychotherapy business is I know the older that I get, that's where the success comes. So like, it's like any, you hone your practice, you really get like acquainted. What am I trying to say? I know what I'm trying to say. You hone your craft, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. Like the more client hours you do, the more reading you do, the more you are in therapy or with a supervisor. So like the older you get is when you really step into your power. So I'm excited for that journey as well, because I'm literally new. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm newly qualified. In the grand scheme of things, I know nothing in terms of what I will know in years to come. So like I'm excited to just keep learning and develop out that private practice and get clients. And in terms of like the coaching business, I'm just coming for it all, really. which sounds mad, but like I've just got all the goals, all the things that I want to do. Like I want to just have a ripple effect. I want to create a community. I want to help women so much with their businesses. I want to run retreats. You know, I've upped my prices. I feel really good with what I'm charging now. I want a life where I'm leaning back and I'm just having so much impact. And I totally believe that that's possible. So that's a business goal. I'm not really a person who sets like big goals, which is interesting. I'm not goal orientated. I'm process orientated, which means I'll have like a vision of where I want to get, but I don't set these like big goals. Like this is what I want, this is what I want, and this is what I want, because I enjoy the process. So I know the process is getting me to where I want to be, but I don't set all these like really strict like goals. And that for me feels like more feminine. It's just the way that I am. I'm just more process orientated. So I have a vision. I have things that I want to achieve and know what I want to do. However, I'm just, every single day I wake up and I'm like, right, okay, let me chip away and chip away and chip away. And one day I'm going to wake up and I'm literally going to be living my vision exactly like America. Like every single year, just chipping away, doing the things, having the conversations, talking about it, then started the process. And before I know it, I'm here and I am living everything that I spoke about for years and years and years. So it's very interesting. So before I do go, one of the things that I want to share with you and talk about are just some ways that I have been managing this change in my life. So some tools, some techniques that I come back to. So one of the first ones is like meditation. I've consistently been meditating every single morning, just dropping into my body. Even when I've been like feeling like shit, I have really been like, you know, when I've been super emotional, I've been coming back to that space of meditation, doing different kinds of meditation, and that has really helped. Reaching out to people and talking is another thing that I have done, like reaching out and connecting with people, having that human connection. Going out and walking in nature has been another big one. Obviously, I am super surrounded by that. And just knowing that no matter where I am in the world and what I do, I'm always a flight away. Like that is so big. And I think I always want women to remember that if they think about traveling on their own, if they think about doing something, because when I went traveling, that was the thing that always grounded me, was knowing I am literally a flight away. Like the world seems like it's so big, but actually it's not that big. Like you can just jump on a flight the same day and be back in your comfort zone. And also knowing that I just constantly come back to gratitude and journal every single morning. And that's been so powerful for me. Noticing things that I am grateful for, because I think when we're out our comfort zone, it's so easy to focus on the negatives. It's so easy to focus on how we're feeling, not what's not working out, what we're missing. So always coming back to that space of like gratitude and feeling like thankful and knowing that I made this decision and I can make another decision at any single point. Like that's also a big one as well. Just like zooming out and looking at the bigger picture. So there are some of the techniques that have been helping me manage that overwhelm, manage that change, manage that uncertainty, allowing myself to have a little cry, feeling all of my feelings, giving myself a sofa day, just giving myself what I need has been super important. So I hope that is helpful. So on that note, I'm going to go, and I hope you've enjoyed this podcast episode, even though it's just like a little chat. But yeah, I shall be back now. Oh, I shall be back now with these weekly episodes on a Sunday, and I am looking forward to connecting back for season 3. So thank you so much for being here. Oh, I did mention a retreat, by the way, and I just absolutely skimmed over that. So I am hosting a retreat next year in Greece. It's called the Divine Self-Love Retreat, and well, it's called the Divine Retreat, and it's happening on the 4th to the 9th of May, and there are 6 spaces left. I have hired an Airbnb in Greece, in Mykonos. It's all inclusive. It's going to be a total immersive self-love retreat. So if you've worked with me before, if you've spent like an hour with me on Zoom, you know what's possible in 5 days. So it's going to be a mix of like really immersive transformational self-love workshops with, you know, like a lot of rest, a lot of relaxation. I've planned days out for us. I've got a breathwork facilitator flying over to do like a really profound session for us. I've got like a catamaran cruise booked. I am going to take us all out to Mykonos for dinner. So literally everything is included in the price. So I'm so excited about that, because I just know, I was journaling on it yesterday. I just know that women are going to step onto that flight going home and they are going to feel different. They are going to have had profound shifts. They are going to be so much more connected to self-love, to themselves, to their vision, to, you know, what's been holding them back and what they need to do in order to like really, really lean in and be that woman that they desire going forward. So I cannot wait. I'm so excited. So if you are interested in that, I should put the link in the show notes for the list, because at the moment it's just like exclusive to my mailing list because there's such limited spaces, and then I will be opening it up. Or you can drop me a DM on Instagram, selflove.lydia, and we can have a little chat about it. But I am super excited. So if you do feel like you want to do a retreat, you want to dedicate 5 days to yourself, you want to relax, you want to recharge, you want to have a rebirth in those 5 days with a group of like-minded women, then on the beautiful island of Mykonos, then that might be for you. And on that note, I am going to go. So I shall see you next week in another episode. I see you. I love you. Thank you for being here.